Welcome back, everybody. We got another great deck profile video for you here. As always, joined by Jeff.
Hey, guys.
It's here, guys. I've been working on this one. This is probably version, 20 for this thing. I've been working on this for like 3 or 4 formats now.
Yes.
It's security control, but not the traditional security control you would think. This is based primarily around security Digimon.
Yes.
Something that we've been trying, or you've been tinkering with for a very long time. I know you did like the full rainbow when 1.5 came out and gave us all those original security Digimon. I've always wanted to mess with it, but I think that we finally have enough.
Yeah.
To make it actually worthwhile.
So what's the clear difference that made this to the next level?
Well, we'll get into that with the level 4s.
Okay.
But I'll tell you what really nailed it in was that tactical retreat.
Yeah.
Back when we got that. That's what spurred the interest of me in this deck.
Yeah.
Originally. And yeah, it's fun stuff. So we're going to start with the eggs. And we're only running 2 eggs because, surprise, surprise, we're only running 2 level 3s. Level 3s are not the win con in this deck. We're running 2 Viximons.
There you go. Showing up with a 52-card deck.
Oh, yeah. So we got... we're running Viximons because we are running a lot of options, and this gives you a more consistent draw than, say, the Upamon would.
Yep.
So very, very good card. So spoiled it already. Only running 2 level 3s. Best level 3 in security control. Salamon. It's really just kind of like a lock and load. Keep it down and raising. If you get it, you get that extra draw. I mean, recovers 1. Good stuff. So now let's get into the level 4s. So we're going to go 4 of the Black Gatomon. So we're going yellow, purple in this deck.
Yeah.
For obvious reasons, right? It has the best removal, best recovery options with everything. So we're going 4 Black Gato, plays from security. I mean, one thing that a lot of people, newer players, forget is that these do battle first, and then they play from security.
Unlike this like Zord defeat, which is where maybe a lot of people got their real interaction with security Digimon.
Right. So we're playing 4 of that. And then we have 4 of the Meikus. So we're running 4 and 4. Also battles, plays out of security. Good stuff. Kind of the gotcha stuff people love.
Yeah.
Or I love anyways. And then we're playing 1 of the Witchmon. Another security Digimon. When this comes out, you can actually re-grab any of these Meikus or Gatos from your trash if you want to. I was running... some Lowies and stuff in here, and so I was kind of using more Witchmons back then to recycle the Lowies out of trash, but my theme in this deck is it has to do something in security.
Got it. That makes a lot of sense.
So now we're up to 4 in this guy. We're running 4 Geogreymons.
Yes.
Love this card. It is a all-star in this deck. It is great for Commandramon, Bloomlord, all those ones, Psychmons when people try and prevent your Death X, all that stuff. Very, very, very good card because once again, it does battle first, then it plays, and then it kills a 4 KDP or less.
Yeah.
So it takes out multiple bodies. And then we have its brother in crime here. We're going blue. We have 4 of the Cordramon.
Yeah. Love the addition of these bodies, right?
Yes.
In the game.
So don't fit the color theme, but it doesn't matter in this deck. So the Cordramon battles, plays from security, and draws you 2 cards.
Such a great card.
A lot of times, if you have this in your hand, you'll still just play it. If you have, when you have your 3-setter, draw 2. Yeah, get you the card you need. Very, very good. So that is all my security Digimon. So now that number is drastically reduced from when I first built this deck, and I tried to go really ham on security Digimon, because obviously there's like the Antillamons, you could do more Witchmons. There's a lot more security Digimon in the game, but this is my happy number, and this is the ratio. I think I'm at 17. I think is the number of cyborgs I play in Machine too. I don't know. It's just my number. It's just my number. So this is the number that I play that you don't see it. You don't, because you don't want it all the time in your security.
You want your hand.
You want the deletion. You want the healing. You want all that good stuff. And yeah, you don't want a ton of these in your hand, right? Because you have to hard play them.
I think the evolution of this whole security Digimon security control deck really thrives on the addition of the purple yellow, right? For other reasons you'll get into with like the options and whatnot, and the Geogray and the Cordramon. Such powerful cards, do a lot of work in your deck. And for those of you who have not played against a deck like this, it completely changes your mental state when you're playing against it, right? And you're like figuring out, okay, I need to go wider than they have security because if I hit a bunch of bodies, I'm just going to lose. You're basically playing your opponent's deck for them.
Yes. And then, so we're done with security Digimon, so we're going to play the only level 5 in the deck, and any security control player knows this is the best card in security control. Magna Anja. Hard plays, recover 1. and then you recycle it with the Flame Hell Scythe and all that good stuff. Very, very, very good card. This is one you want in your trash early. This is a good like turn 1, give them 7, but you recover 1, and you want this in your trash because you're recovering a lot in your security, and you're also playing purple-yellow. So the Flame Hell Scythe is the best way to kill a body, play this, and recover. That's kind of
very strong.
That's kind of the loop in the deck that you want to hit. So the faster you can get this in your trash, the better. There's been times when I'm playing against like Commander Bond decks. Doesn't matter how many times I swing with this thing, it doesn't die. So there'll be times where I'll tactical retreat it to put it back on top of my security just so I can get it in the trash.
So you can Flame Hell Scythe later.
Yeah. Good stuff. And then we're going to just, we're going to briefly talk about the villain in the deck. 2 Death X. It's just too good of a card. People play it against you, so you're going to have to play it against them. There are other options you can play, and I'll get into that at the end of the video. If you don't have these, you can't procure them for whatever reason. But these are very good defensive cards. They are used technically, kind of like as options because you don't digivolve them in this deck. They're not something that I don't consider a win con, but they help, just like they help every other deck, right? So they are really good in this deck.
And the Witch is really nice if you need to recycle that too.
It doesn't recycle this. Level 5 or lower.
I misspoke, guys. Sorry.
It's okay.
I always get confused on that Witch.
You're talking about, I think you're getting mistaken for my Tamer.
Yes.
My Tamer does recycle. So this is the big, we're talking about Tamers now, so that's a good segue. This is the big change in this deck because all my other options, even up to the one that we filmed 2 days ago that we're not going to release, and I've changed it since then, this is so much better. I was running 4 of the yellow Karis, and looking at some of the security control decks from like Evo Cups or Ultimate Cups and stuff like that, I just kept seeing this Tamer over and over again. I was like, okay. I think that it just makes so much more sense to play 3 of the Mimi.
Wouldn't it be great if we had a nice, pretty box topper of that?
Give me something.
Like a nice, shiny purple one.
This is actually my first experience really using this card. And you don't see it because it is older. It's BT3, right?
You're right. You don't.
So I was realizing that I was using my Karis to make my options cheaper because they're mostly recovery options. But this does all that for a 2 cost, and it fulfills the purple requirement because I'm playing the yellow egg. So it just makes too much sense. And you can use it against your opponent. We're playing it against some level 7 or 7 cost purple options earlier, and it just makes everything more expensive for your opponent too. So very, very versatile card. Now we're going to get into the other purple Tamer. This is the one that recycles the Death X.
Yes.
This recycles Death X. It recycles a lot of your options. It recycles some of your Digimon if you need them. Very, very good card. This is one, it's an interesting memory setter because in this deck, it's a memory setter that if you get it turn 1 in your hand, you hold on to it. You don't use it because you want this to save, like, if they hit a Death X in security or if you need to recycle that Flame Hell Scythe, you want to hold on to this in your hand until you need it for that recycle option because this deck doesn't necessarily need you to be set to 3. It's more of, it's a control deck. So if you do play this deck, don't hard play this turn 1. I think you'll regret it because you're wasting the best part of this card.
What I really like, though, too, is now you have your yellow eggs, your yellow 3s, and then you have purple Tamers to really help solidify your dual color options, help consistently be able to trigger them.
So let's get into the options now. So if we're talking about security control, we're talking about recovering, right? So the goal in this deck is kind of different than like security control decks. A lot of security control decks tend to play tons of kill spells, and this one is mostly meant to make your security super tall and distract your opponent and confuse them as far as like throwing off their estimations of what they need to win.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
So to that end, we disrupt your opponent by playing 4 Holy Waves.
It's just brutal.
It's a good turn pass. It recovers 1. And the best thing is in security, as a lot of times they're doing their mental math on their side and they're like, I need how many swings to win. This totally disrupts that.
Completely stops it. Absolutely.
Completely changes it because it just keeps adding and adding and adding. And to that end, we're just going to throw the other one out there too, is the tactical retreat because they both do the same thing in security.
Yes.
So now you're looking at almost 20% of your deck. If they hit it in security, it's going to throw their math off and it's going to recover. And this can happen over and over and over again, right? So very, very cool cards. Obviously, the Holy Wave just recovers 1 when you use it. The tactical retreat, however, has multiple options. It's very good for recycling the Geograys if you need to kill multiple things. You put them basically, if they pull something out of security, like a security Digimon, and you swing with it and live, it's always fun to tactical retreat it and put it back on top because it gets it off your board. So it prevents, Death X shenanigans. You know where it's going to be. You know that it's going to come back out on the field. And you get that on-play effect again, like the Geo-Gray or the Cordramon. So very cool to recycle those on-plays. Very, very fun. So the only thing that really hurts this deck, if you can find... Like, there's some trashing security. Like, I think that I ran into a big wall with this deck against the Ancient Beetlemon stuff.
Yeah.
Because that happened all the time, right?
Where it trashes your security.
Yeah, it trashes it. So... But now there's so much more recovery. I think that it's not too terrible of a matchup. So now we're talking about the best option in the deck. We're going for Flame Hell Scythe.
Very strong.
This is the boy of the deck. I mean, you really, really want to see this and your Magnas, at least in some ratio. I mean, you don't want to see them all that way, but this is kind of this is what prolongs the game and gets your body out, take something off their field, and you can start. It's all about chip damage in this.
Everybody should know what Flame Hell Scythe does, and that's okay if you don't. We're not here to judge.
Yeah.
But what I love about it, too, is if it triggers in security, it's almost like playing another security Digimon with the potential of, if you do the Magna Angemon, of being a Holy Wave at the same time. So it's just a perfect complement to the deck. The clear evolution of the security Digimon is just purple-yellow.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's a great marriage, for sure. And then we're going to get into removal. So I think that is the thing that I started this deck out with all the security Digimon.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm just going to play the gacha game, right? But then you run into Mechanoris, you run into blockers, you run into, big stacks like Alphamon that just swings until your game is over.
Crimson Blaze. Yeah. All sorts of things.
So that's when I jumped into removal. Because originally, I think the only removal I had in this deck was the Flame Hell Scythe. And I'm like, it's just not enough.
Yeah.
It doesn't get me where I need to be. So, to that end, I added 4 Wyverns.
Okay.
So, I think, honestly, this is evolving to be maybe the best removal card in the game.
Yeah.
If you're looking at it.
Yeah.
It's pretty close, I think.
It is.
Because there's so many things that prevent deletion by effects that this does not apply to.
Or if you need to kill Armor Purge stuff.
Armor Purge, yep. Yeah. Very, very good card.
And the new Chaos Dramon, right? Doesn't stop DP reduction.
Yep. Very good card. So I've had a lot of luck with this. It's very nasty in security. And the good thing is with the Mimis is these can make it cheaper.
Yeah.
You can Wyverns for 5 if you have 3 of them out. Very good card. And then a new addition to the deck with BT10. I tried to add more of these. I just couldn't find room. But the Lanaki Adastako. Very good card. So it's kind of like a Wyvern's Breath, but it's got more versatility if you have 3 security.
Yeah.
So it kind of lets you do couple different things. So if you have 3 or more, which you constantly do in this deck, pretty close. So it's like Wyverns, but it's minus 12k, which still takes out a lot of your opponent's level 6 Digimon when it's your turn, because a lot of their DP boosts don't, transfer over.
Yeah, makes sense.
Still very good. And then if you do have 3 or less, you get to add one of their Digimon face down on their security.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a Chaos Dag. But a little bit more versatile. And then if you have that magic number 3 security, you get to do both effects. So it's a Pulsemon tribal card, but very good in this deck. Came in very useful in my testing. So if you can find a way to add more, I would. And I think that's kind of where the Death X's go. If you can't procure the Death X's, try 2 more Adastakos because they're very, very good removal. I mean, this kills 15k bodies. This kills 12ks and potentially bigger with the bottom security.
Yeah.
So also good. I would recommend doing 3 and 4. The other cards I added to the deck recently are 2 Holy Flames. So this is a very good control card.
Yeah.
Especially even if you have it in your hand, it's very good to use, especially if you're going against a big stack opponent. Saves you a turn essentially for 2 memory or cheaper. Very, very good card. Obviously hits in security. It's just a blanket effect. All of your opponent's Digimon security attack -1 for the next turn. I mean, it's
pretty good.
And just it's like an ice wall in yellow. So it's very, very good. I recommend checking that out. And then final card in the deck, we're playing the one of Reinforcing Memory Boost. This card just comes in clutch all the time. It's why it's restricted, right? I mean, you got to play the one of. You can play it for cheaper with the Mimis. It just lets you look at 2 cards and put 1 face down in your security stack. There's a lot of cards on here that are fun to just throw down face down your security stack. Like, half the time you do that, you're going to grab a security Digimon, like a Geo-Gray or a Cordramon, or a Holy Wave or Tactical Retreat, and just be like, okay, you're going to have to hit that security twice.
Yep.
So it really makes this deck in particular just really makes your opponent kind of try and memorize. It's like a memory game when you're playing cards, like when you're a kid, right? Really makes you kind of try and remember what was in their security and where it was when they start adding stuff with the retreats and with the reinforcing memory boost, because they're going to have to add that to their math when they're coming into their calculations of how many swings do I need to win.
Yep.
And that's kind of where I think the strength of the deck is. If you guys have any more options that you think I should play in this deck or any suggestions, feel free to let me know. But this is a really fun way to play security control without playing actual security control with the Ophanimon and that kind of stuff. No Digivolving required in this deck, really. It's just you let your opponent play your Digimon for you, and you kind of just play the mind game with it. So really fun. Makes people kind of not get angry, but just get like really confused.
Yes.
Which is always fun, right?
Ask me how I know.